10 life-changing inventions that were discovered by accident. Have you ever wondered how somebody came up with an idea? For example, how did somebody ever think of making an X-ray machine or a microwave oven? By accident, that's how. Many of mankind's most useful devices and contraptions were invented completely by mistake. For centuries, scientists have been tasked with finding the solution to a particular problem, only to discover something totally different. Here is a list of some of the most important and useful inventions that were discovered or invented by mistake.
Number 10. Fireworks. Some 2,000 years ago in a Chinese kitchen, a cook made one of the oldest accidental discoveries known to man when he mixed sulfur, saltpeter, potassium nitrile, and charcoal over a fire. Let's just say combustion ensued. What the cook was thinking, or whether or not he made it to work the next day, is not known, but that he just made a discovery that would change the history of the world forever. The ancient Chinese called it fire chemical and quickly learned that when they compressed the concoction, such as inside a piece of bamboo, it exploded. Thus, the firecracker was born.
Number 9. Laughing gas. In 1799, Humphrey Davy, a young English inventor and chemist, who would eventually be elected president of the Royal Society in London, decided to use himself as a guinea pig to find out the effects of inhaling artificially produced gases, all in the name of science. Along with an assistant, Dr. Kinglake, they discovered that heat-treating ammonium nitrate crystals produced a gas that they could collect in special oil-treated silk bags. They then could run the gas through water vapors, which would purify it. Number 8. Saccharin. Other than lead acetate, which is a known toxin, saccharin is the first artificial sweetener to inexpensively replace cane sugar, and it was discovered completely by accident. Sometime in late 1878 or early 1879, Professor Ira Rimson was running a small laboratory at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, when he was approached by an import firm, H.W. Perot, to do some work regarding sugar. The firm wanted Konstantin Falberg, an expert on the sweet stuff, to use Rimson's lab to test the purity of a shipment of it. Number 7. X-rays. On November 8, 1895, Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, a German physicist, was working in his lab, running tests on cathode ray when, out of his peripheral vision, he spotted a strange glow on a screen that had earlier been treated with chemicals. Wilhelm had been the first person in history to observe X-ray, which is what he dubbed them due to their unknown and mysterious properties. Number 6. Silly putty. With no moving parts or electronics to fail, silly putty remains one of the most prolific toys ever produced. In its first 5 years, over 32 million units were bought worldwide. Today, it is guesstimated that almost 1/3 billion have been sold around the globe. This was obviously a good thing for its inventor, General Electric engineer Dr. James Wright, who discovered the gooey stuff in 1943. Number 5. Microwave ovens. You push 2 on the keypad. A box lights up, and you see a plate rotating with a small, brown packet on it. Soon, a machine gun rattle fills your kitchen air with the familiar, tantalizing odor of your favorite buttery snack. You have in front of you not only steaming hot and buttery popcorn but one of most prolific machines ever invented in history, and it was discovered by accident. Number 4. Scotchgard. Fluorochemical technology, which involves products made from chemical compounds containing fluorine, is 3M's bread and butter, so to speak. They have been global leaders in the industry for well over half a century, yet there was a time when their scientists were greatly challenged by the task of creating useful products using this technology. A young chemist named Patsy Sherman accepted the challenge when she was hired by 3M in 1952 and soon agreed to meet it in 1953. Sherman was then given the assignment to come up with a rubber-like material that would resist jet fuel and, as so often happens, discovered something totally different instead. Number 3. Pacemakers. It was 1956. Wilson Greatbatch was working on a device to monitor and record the sounds of the human heart, when he inserted a transistor into his device that was 100 times as powerful as he would normally use. His mistake caused the instrument to create electrical impulses that were perfectly emulating the beat of the heart. So, instead of ruining the thing, which could easily have happened, the device wasn't monitoring the heartbeat, it was creating one. He was amazed when he quickly realized that his invention could be used as an internal pacemaker, an instrument which, at the time, had to be worn like a necklace, with the thing shocking the patient to keep their heart beating. Number 2. Post-it notes. In 1968, a scientist working for the Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing Corporation, also known as 3M, named Spencer Silver was given the job of inventing a super adhesive designed exclusively to be used in the aerospace industry, a very tough industry to design for. His initial attempt was a flop. He was looking for strength but got something strong enough to maybe hold a sheet of paper to a bulletin board, giving them the idea to fashion some notepad prototypes, even though they didn't have much faith in the concept. Art Fry, another employee of 3M, had the idea to use one of these prototypes as bookmarks in his choir hymn book because he kept losing his place while singing. With this practical use, he realized that the prototype notes worked perfectly by sticking really well while leaving no glue and not damaging the pages. Number 1. Self-igniting matches. Humans have had fire for eons, and we've always looked for easy ways to start fires. The modern-day match transformed our world and enriched our way of life, in ways their inventors could never have imagined, but early matches weren't strikeable or self-igniting and needed some other means to light. For example, early Chinese matches were coated with sulfur that burned very bright and were used to enlarge an existing fire quickly, but they never evolved beyond that ability.